Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.
All right, Legends 34. We started off the episode 13 already. I think I'm losing count, man.
About right. When you start losing count, that means we get a number.
We're going up the hill, getting up the hill. And first things first, the 30th on Old Galveston. Descriptions in the details in the descriptions. That damn sin, he's trying to get a fundraiser going to get him a prosthetic leg. I think at this point we want to get him 7, one for each day of the week, right, Kay? Get up and mobile again. But we'll need y'all out there, support him, and get some tickets. Get some more information on the podcast in the description. First things first, the NBA. You know, we got the Celtics. They prevailed. They won it all against the Mavericks. A lot of aftermath, I guess you could say. First thing that I wanted to mention is, which is not being mentioned, I don't feel, wouldn't it be nice to go out and get, if you had a struggling young organization as the Rockets, right? New draft picks every year. It'd be nice to go get the guy who built the Celtics, right? Yeah. Oh, the GM did do that already, right? Right. We have to give credit to Raphael. He got the right man. I mean, proof's in the pudding. I mean, can't say give him all the credit, but Udoka installed that defense. I would have to say in these young players.
This is a Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr type of scenario we deal with in Boston. Where, we know the history with Golden State and all that. The team was kind of built and the foundation was laid by one coach. He gets moved out, another guy comes in. So, he served a meal with Udoka's ingredients. You know what I'm saying? Not, of course, give credit to Brad Stevens and, guys like that, because many would say that the original guy would be Brad Stevens, who was the original chef for the meal. But
Danny Ainge of some foot.
Danny Ainge from a little further back. But, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do in terms of getting closer and closer every year. And then finally, boom, knocking the door down. Because you got to remember, man, they was talking about breaking that up. Every year they lost, Tatum and Brown not going to work. Tatum and Brown break it up, trade one, trade other. But they paid Brown. They trusted in him before the season started. Now they talking about Tatum might be hitting on $500 million when his turn comes up. So, yeah, man, salute to the Boston Celtics, man. Yeah. But I'm glad we got y'all's other coach, because the truth of the matter is, if Udoka was still, they'd have won the same championship.
That's what I'm saying. That's my opinion. Your opinion. I believe it.
Now, credit to the front office that they added Drew Holiday, added Porzingis. That was really the key to get him over the hump. But, yeah, I think that Ime would have won with this team, plain and simple.
If they had kept Marcus Smart, do you think they should have won?
Well,
it's a tough one, huh?
Well, if you look at what Drew Holiday brought to that team, man, just with the defense, the timely shots, just the IQ of the game, I would put him ahead of Marcus Smart. But if, just say, for example, they still had Marcus Smart and they add Porzingis, and the road through the East was a little easier, they still would have won. I think they still would have won. Yeah. They had a pretty easy ride. I think they only lost 3 games the whole playoffs this season. They had Miami, then they had, who was that, Cleveland, Cleveland had injuries. They had an easy road.
Yes.
But they're the best record in the league, best team in the league, and they won it.
And they sure did. And give credit, again, last episode of Al Horford, Derek White, these instrumental players that they helped build this team with over time, character guys. And
no doubt, man. And deserve, man. You know, I'm always for the old school, man. You know, guy been in the league 15, 16 years, never got one. You want to see him get one. But Tatum and Brown, those guys are like old souls. These dudes 25, 26 years old, and they feel like they've been in the league 10 years because they went so far, they made so many big runs. So, yeah.
And switching sides, where do the Mavs go from here? Are they missing a piece?
They're missing a piece.
They're all right steady where they're at?
No. They need a third scorer. They need a third guy who can create for himself. Like we just got through talking about Boston and all those different guys. You can go all the way down, Drew Holiday, Derek White. These guys can just create on their own too. Right. Dallas needs a third guy that doesn't have to depend on Kyrie and Luka to get them the ball. And if you got that guy, we can say, okay, well, here you go, you eat. And then Kyrie and Luka, that kind of makes a big difference. They got the size up front. And they need consistent shooting. They missed a lot of shots. Boston hit a lot of threes in that series. Dallas didn't, and it's a game of inches sometimes.
Give me a hypothetical. Say they get Paul George. Is that what they need, or is it someone of LeBron's caliber, or someone maybe Dejounte Murray, I get that name right?
Dejounte Murray, yeah.
But that's not quite enough.
Well, the problem is, in the West, you could add a third guy, but the West is so hard to get through. It's not guaranteed Dallas going to get back next year. It's not guaranteed that. So if they add some monumental piece that undeniably, like, let's go back in time and say, okay, next year Dallas does a Golden State, they bring Kevin Durant in. Then you can say, okay, well, you know what? They can get back now because they got that third guy, superstar, future Hall of Famer. But, man, add Paul George to that mix, just hypothetically, like you say. That don't guarantee Dallas get back. The team Paul George is on is Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. They ain't getting out the second round. Mm. Now, injuries got a lot to do with that, but I think now we have kind of transitioned out of the era of the NBA where those 3 and 4 superstars automatically get you to the finals. It's like, yeah, it automatically gets you to the playoffs, but, man, you ain't guaranteed, man. Denver's going to be back next year. Like you say, the Lakers may tweak and make a run. Houston may push. One of these teams at the bottom. Memphis will be back. Ja Morant. All these good teams in the West, Sacramento, teams that was on the outside looking in, Golden State. The West is tough, man. So this window is small. It's not a foregone conclusion that, oh, well, yeah, Luka's going to be in it every year. Nah, man, they could be right at home in the first, second round next year.
Right. And given what you said, how tough the West is it a shoe-in that the East is Celtics again next year? They're already favored to repeat, or are you on that bandwagon?
Yeah, no doubt. But you always have to wait for free agency to develop, especially in the East. You know, just like we said in the West, guys, pieces going to move around. But in the East, if one move gets made by a Milwaukee or if Cleveland or somebody like that, you got to watch a team like Orlando coming up. I don't think they're ready yet, though. But one guy move around. Just say Paul George goes to Philly.
Right.
You know,
there you go.
And all of a sudden that changes the dynamic. So the Celtics are favored, and they rightfully so, because they have the actual team and the chemistry to where it's like, man, we've been together all these years and we know each other. They are more of a complete team. So barring injuries, yeah, they could get back, but it ain't far-fetched to think that one of these teams in the East can add a big piece, and now we can challenge, you know. And then injuries and all, they got to never know.
Well, we've had some people pass. Jerry West was passing. We mentioned Chet Walker but I wanted to do a proper tribute. And Eddie, we got some clips here, and I was looking at his statistics, all the All-Star games, and this really got overshadowed due to a lot of people we've lost. Willie Mays, which we'll talk about a little later.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Walton, Jerry West. They all kind of avalanched on us, but we don't want to forget Chet Walker.
Right.
Go ahead and let that run a little bit, Eddie.
No question.
Which was also in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
This man's credentials are NBA champion. What a score, 6'7", right?
And see, and Chet, he played with Wilt. Right. So you gonna get overshadowed, but
yes,
the players that played against him and with him, you know, all of them would talk about how great a player that Chet Walker was, man.
Great jumper.
Tough guy, yeah.
Also, man, played many 82-game seasons.
No
load management.
That was understood back then. Oh man, look, these dudes getting medals for playing 70 games and reaching the 65-game minimum that they have out now.
All right, Eddie, bring up the page of his stats. Stop this.
Heck nah, they don't build them like that no more, man.
They were built for something different.
Yeah.
Now here's how many seasons he played.
Oh man.
7 All-Star appearances.
Oh man.
Wow, man.
That's the regular season.
Regular season playoff numbers, just incredible, man.
Right.
Again, nobody to be forgotten, man. As far as an NBA legend.
Right. Right. No question about it, man.
Hall
Like
of
I say,
Famer, man,
it's sad how time consumes certain people in certain eras.
Right.
You know, because if depending on when you was born, there's gonna be people who was incredible and great that you never heard of, you know. And of course Chet Walker was way before us.
Right.
But being basketball fans and historians, you know, I knew about Chet Walker many years ago just from the history of the game. But it's sad when guys like that. See, and you starting to slowly see it now. You starting to see guys talk like Michael Jordan wasn't all that, you know. He played against little guys and like JJ Wrekk, plumbers and like, come on, man. That's how time works, man. Where they'll try to diminish the accomplishments of somebody great that could have dominated in any era, man. Like, come on, man.
History,
Yeah, man. But you know, you rewriting lies. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, I think you already picked the segue to the next subject, and that is J.J. Redick, former Duke University Mr. Daylight himself, who I guess you said was at best a bench player through the NBA in his career. I don't know your opinion on Redick, but I think he was a pretty good six-man, if anything. I don't know about a starter, but he is now the head coach of the Lakers, and boy, did he give them a bunch of money and expectations, I guess, and much speculation already that he's just a puppet for LeBron to stick his hand in his you-know-where. So, what are your opinions on this move by the Lakers?
Well, first thing coming to my mind is if you was walking through the mall and there's a beautiful woman in the mall and you're a young fella and you walk up and you try to holler at her and she turns you down, and then all of a sudden another guy comes along. Well, put it like, let me say it like this. You in the mall, she sees a guy that she likes, and then she tries to holler at that guy, and then he turns her down, and then somebody else comes along. You the second choice. You know what I'm saying? They wanted Hurley. You know what I'm saying? They wanted Dan Hurley, and they actually made Dan Hurley an offer, and he turned that offer down. And a lot of people felt like the Lakers dropped the ball because they felt like they lowballed him. They should have offered him more money. So now, well, Dan don't want to date us no more. Call that guy JJ and see if he'll go to the prom with us. Right. So that alone, of course, if you want to coach, you'll overlook that and say, all right, I know I wasn't the first choice, but I'll still go along with it. But, you know, I mean, he takes a job, man, with no experience, which is not unprecedented. You know, we've seen people do it before. A lot of players have come straight off the bench and ended up on the coaching side. So I don't think it's early, but I don't think he's going to be very impactful as a coach with those guys. They say he's good with X's and O's, but you still got to be better with personalities than you got to be with X's and O's. That, to me, that'll take you farther as a coach.
In this day and age of the
yeah, because
league.
if I don't know the X's and O's, but I got a good rapport with players and I can bring out the best in them and motivate them, I got assistants on the bench that can draw plays and then break all that down to me. So, you know, a lot of people are mad because how fast he shot up the ladder. People like Sam Cassell come to my mind, who's been assistant coaching for like 15 years and can't get a head coaching gig. Maybe they feel like Sam haven't paid all his dues yet because Steven Silas waited 20 years to get a job. Then you have other guys that have sat on the bench for years and years before they finally got shot. So Sam's day might come, but I believe that a guy with 3 rings and one as a coach this year with the Celtics is more qualified than a guy like JJ Redick. But like you said, if LeBron handpicks you, you're going to be that guy. We live in it ain't what you know, it's who you know type of world.
Right, and especially with LeBron in the mix, man. Who knows if he stays or he leaves? There's so many rumors flying around with his son possibly in the draft.
Bro, do you know LeBron have had 4 or 5? This is like his 4th coach since he got to the Lakers. He's had 4 or 5 coaches. Let me see. He came in. I think Luke Walton was coaching early on. Then Vogel came in. They won a championship in the bubble. Darvin Ham. Yeah, this is fourth coach since he's been with the Lakers. So it's like, dude, I mean, I don't put it all on LeBron because I put it on the Lakers organization as well because they panic if the Lakers don't win a championship every year, then we got to bust it up because we got to be in contention to win the championship every year, and you don't have any consistency. So you get rid of a coach that won the championship, and you get rid of another guy who took you to the conference finals just last season. So JJ, if history plays out right, he won't be that long.
No, I don't think so, man. But we will see. You know, Lakers start out 0-23 or something. I'm sure they'll.
They getting older.
To an interim coach.
They better get some help.
You're right.
Yeah, they better get some help because, you know, LeBron is coming to what? This is going to be season 22. But he will be the one. He will be the only player to have 40,000. 10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists. That's amazing, dog.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's amazing.
Give him credit for longevity.
He's already over 40.
Over 40.
Yeah.
Okay, he's already over that one. Okay.
So,
there's more happening, though, this season, I'm sure.
10,000 rebounds, 10,000 assists.
Okay.
That's like the equivalent of a triple-double career or something like that. So, yeah, that's amazing, man, you know.
And we'll get to that later of corrections, right? But remind me on the Astros, there's a correction that need to be made. But I do want to bring in the NBA. The draft is this week. Was it Wednesday and Thursday, I believe? The Rockets got some decisions to make. Whether they're rumoring to maybe trade the pick. Marcus Smart is in the discussions. There's other players in discussion, other teams. There's talks of going big. There's talks of going with the shooter and Shepherd. There's talks of all kind of chaos, really. Well, if you're the GM, what do you kind of look at? Where will you point the ship?
It's a good problem to have, number one. You got the 3rd pick in the draft, and it's a good problem to have because you got options to either try to get the best player out the draft or to trade that pick and maybe get a veteran that can come in and impact right now, maybe add a piece, throw somebody in there like a Jay Sean Tate with that pick and see what you can get. I would like for them to get bigger and more athletic on the front line because if you look at how the league is moving now, just like we just got through talking about Dallas with those 2 guys, Gafford and Lively up front, you know, athletic guys. And we've had guys like, we had Clint Capella and guys like that before, Dwight Howard. So I would like to get athletic up front, lob threat type of guys. But if you can trade the pick and get somebody in that can help us right now, don't have to go through no rookie curve or nothing like that, then do it. But those first 2 guys, the 2 guys that I would like to see, they're going to be gone. and that's Zachary Risacher or whatever I'm saying his name right. I can't say his name right, and Alexander Sarr. Right. They'll probably be gone unless something surprising happens. But Donovan Klingon would be out there, and he's 7'2", right. Big guy, not really athletic, but he's a real good player. And at 3, if he's there, I would take him over Reed Shepard, who was on all the mock drafts, who they projecting the Rockets to take. Right. And Reed Shepard is a deadly shooter, but the league is going back to our size, bro. You know, we need shooting, but the league is going back. We need a big guy that can help. Even though your brother Steven Adams is coming back.
It's worth noteworthy that he's going to lace him up. We'll see.
Yeah, he's coming, but you know, Steven Adams, the older, he's not as athletic. You know, and then truth be told, you know, like 6'10", you know, we need that big 7-footer, man, that can match up against the Wnbas and the Porzingises and the Jokers and all that, and all those guys like that.
Right. Even Zach Edey has been in some of the talks, but I believe he's just a little too slow.
Yeah, he dropped.
He's trying to do.
He's dropped. Now he's 7'5", but his stock, they got him projected to go like 15. You know, and that could change, but you know, for him to be that dominant in college and still drop that low in the projections, you know, it might have something to do with what you said. Just not athletic, just slow, just nothing but size, but he's skilled.
Right. I want to be fair. It might be unfair to him saying, "Oh, he's slow." Well, it might be true, but with the league as it is in this day and age, they're 30 feet away from the basket, right? They're shooting three. Like Anna said it best, right? They're literally playing from the 3-point line to the 3-point line. Man, that was such a great insight. I never heard it put that way before, right? But he's literally right. And given that, hold on.
No, I already did it. I was telling you.
Okay. Given that they're playing from 3-point line to 3-point line, his style of play don't quite.
That's gonna hurt him.
Mesh with that type. That's what I mean.
And forget offense. What's gonna happen when they put him in pick and roll on defense?
Right, he's just a big pig.
They gonna play. They gonna dance him. They gonna put on their dancing shoes. So I mean, a team would have to find a way to incorporate him and hide him the best you could. Now, as a rookie, especially dropping that low, he's not going to get a bunch of he's going to play 35, 38 minutes a game, no way, but they would have to really figure out a way to just use him, because in the fourth quarter, if he's out there, man, they're going to pick and roll him to death.
Right, like, the teams maybe like the Warriors, they use Kevon Looney, or they use Bogut, remember, as just a big pick, you know what I'm saying? But they made it work. I'm not saying he can't play in the league. I know he can play in the league. I'm just saying that, to be fair, there's some of the styles that the teams play might be difficult finding, the right home for him. But I don't think the Rockets is one of those.
No. If he was a little more, put it like this: if he was on that level, trust me, he would be the automatic number 1 pick like Wnba was last year. It wouldn't be. This guy's 7'5". It wouldn't be no question. He's going number 1. They don't even have him top 5. They don't even have him top 10. They got him top 15. So it's something there. That's not to say he can't prove the critics wrong, but I ain't gonna take a chance with him.
Right.
Unless I can get him for nothing.
Well, we're gonna see what the Rockets do. That's Wednesday, Thursday of this week. We'll see what chaos breaks out, or the Rockets just decide to draft. They try to go safe. We'll see. Yeah.
Weak draft this year, y'all.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. Yeah. I want to. This was a perfect way to segue into the WNBA, because we're going back on the conversation we had about nicknames. And if you see, and another thing is, for the people watching Legends 34, we're going to appreciate you tuning in during these lull times, right? Because right now the NBA's over. We're waiting on the NFL. Anxious.
Woo!
That's all we got.
Worst time of the year.
So we're gonna get creative on Legends 34 and have these little segments, and this is perfect. Now, I see before you all the teams of the WNBA. I don't know why I'm so stuck on calling the NBA the WNBA, but I am. The NBA and all their teams, right? Kay? So if we played a nickname association game here, if I was to tell you an easy one, the Lakers, who is a nickname player you associate with the Lakers?
A nickname player? Magic?
Magic, easy one. Celtics.
Larry Legend?
Oh, Legend, all right. I would have said Hondo. How about the Warriors? Some of these are a little challenging.
Chef Curry. They call him Chef Curry for whatever reason, but that's all I could think of. I was trying to go back in time and hold on, wait a minute. Let me see. Well, Run TMC was 3 guys.
Okay, all right. Perfect example.
Yeah. Nickname. I never seen 3 guys have a nickname. Well, I guess it have
That's
them,
right.
Yeah.
There's another way of marketing in the 80s, right?
Right.
Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, and Mullins.
Right. So Run TMC.
Great. Nets.
You said the Nets or the Knicks?
The Brooklyn Nets.
The Nets. Well, let's go back to the ABA. Dr. J played for the Nets.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the New Jersey Nets. So I'm gonna take Doc. I'm gonna put Dr. J up.
How about Clippers?
Man, the Clippers had a bad history, man. Let me see.
You're not gonna like this one, Candyman.
Yeah, that number 1 pick in the draft. If that's all you got for the Clippers, man, the Clippers they struggling, man. I'm like. You got to go current
or the claw.
They got the claw, they got the beard, So I mean, that's Clippers ain't got much, man.
And we don't got to do all these, but we're pointing to this marketing, right? The NBA has done over all these years that the WNBA has never even experimented in at all, like you said.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think that we are gonna go down as the first podcast to even bring light to this.
Right.
Because we talked about this last week, how you can't think of any other star players in the WNBA that have a nickname. You know what I'm saying? Asia Wilson from all the way down. It's like they just go by their names. And it's probably been that way since the beginning. It was Cheryl Swoops. It was Cynthia Cooper. It was Lisa Nobody have had a nickname in the WNBA that I can think of. And I just think that marketing-wise, if they can kind of get that going, add some people in there with, Now, Juju is coming, I think, next year, and she gonna be a beast, but she's still in school. But outside of that, man, you need any type of thing that's gonna bring attention to people where you can market, make shirts, and do all this different thing. You can attack advertisement to it in commercials based on the nickname. You go all the way back to when Larry Johnson was Grandmama. They made commercials centered around that, and that would bring more attention and more revenue, in my opinion. If they could market it and get some of these girls some nicknames, man.
I'm still tripping on the example you gave. It's so perfect. Run TMC. I mean, at that time of the Warriors, like who did they have? Well, that was a little moniker they came up with to get people to come to the game, watch the games. Like, well, what's the Warriors doing this year? The avid fan. You know, we got 3 good players. The Run. Who's that? And it stirs this whole thing. People
you
go
gotta
and
have
interest,
a theme.
Right?
Everything in life is theme oriented. If you don't have a theme, then you just basically
Twin Towers.
The
Ralph
Twin
Sampson,
Towers. Come on, man. That's a great example.
Right.
You got to have something that's gonna make people say, "Well, what is this about?" You don't. I can't just walk you into a movie and say, "What is this movie?"
Right.
What's the name of the movie? What's it about? It's just movie. Come see it. So even if it's not an individual nickname, those teams in the league that have 2 or 3 star players attach some kind of moniker to them that would draw the people that you could create merch behind and people could rally behind, man. That's just good. That's just bad marketing to me. For
right. No, but again, it's a perfect segue into what's happening right now in the WNBA between, there's a racial element going on with Caitlin and Angel Reese, and their rivalry from the college, like Larry Bird and Magic had a rivalry, right? It's kind of mirroring itself. We hope this is what's developing here, right? And then the other cast of characters that we get to come in and have nicknames and marketing, and bottom dollar is getting people to watch the product, man, support the product, go to the game, sell the which they are right now based on 2 players only, but let's see if they get it diversified, right?
Yeah, they need to, because they can play off of that dynamic, because bottom line is the racial dynamic was clearly there back when Magic and Bird was in the league, but it worked. They played off of it. But so in this particular case, it's still there. You know, it ain't, because that's why the attendance is, a lot of attendance is up, because, like I say, you got a lot of white people want to come see Caitlin Clark, and let's just be real, a lot of the white basketball fans that are Caitlin Clark fans, they don't like Angel Reese. They don't like her swag. They don't like it. So, hey man, capitalize. They played a great game the other night.
Sunday was good.
Oh man, that was a great game. Yeah. All that is good for the league. But I was thinking of some ideas that I think could help the league, but this is all just imagine this, man. Even though we know at the end of next year, it's going to be the last year that we see the NBA on TNT crew with Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie. Imagine if they would have those guys doing intros, halftime, and postgame for WNBA games. Man, that would push ratings up so high to have Barkley and all those guys talking about the WNBA before the games like they do with the NBA game. But like I say, the next year's their last year, and I don't know how that will work in terms of with the network, because they don't run WNBA on TNT that I can think of. But that kind of personality added to the broadcast would change it, because if you think about it, the broadcasts are just boring, man. Now, if this hypothetical scenario was to come to light, the biggest problem we would have was that a lot of women who are the broadcasters in the pregame, postgame, they would feel some kind of way getting moved out. But if we talking business, if we talking saving the league, and a league that's bleeding and hemorrhaging money, and we always talk about the $10 million a year that they're losing in the last few years, I read a report that said that this year, even with the numbers being up like they are, they projected to lose $50 million this year. Wow. I don't even know how that makes sense if the numbers are up. So that's just something I thought of, like, man, you have to have other elements that draw people to want to watch the game. We'll watch Barkley and Shaq and might not even pay attention to the game. It's been times where the game is on, I'm doing something else, but at halftime, I unmute and watch them because it's entertaining. So that's just my take, man. You know, if y'all listening, try to get somebody with infuse some personality. It's more than just talking about the X's and O's of the game. You know, you got to have more. You got to have more to that, man.
Right, which the NBA has. Give them credit with the men. They've done so well as far as marketing.
And
kind of dropped the ball.
And let me say this too, because I had to put this in my notes. Now, they fighting like dogs to try to build this thing up. They're getting ready to have expansion. Golden State's getting a team next year, 2025. Toronto's going to have another team coming after that. The buy-in for the franchise for the Golden State team that's coming in next year is $50 million. They paying $50 million to get into the league. I'm assuming by the time Toronto comes, it may be the same or it might go up. They have a bunch of rights deals that they're working on right now that should bring revenue to the league as well, because the NBA is still holding them up. Now, at the end of the day, once all that is said and done, like even right now, the players are only getting 40% of the total revenue. The players and the team combined, the franchise only getting 40%, and the rest goes to like other entities that are involved in it, man. But so their money might not even go up much. It might go up a little bit, but it might not go up much. So they got to figure out how to change this thing around, because the NBA and Adam Silver, they ain't in the business of losing money, bro. You know, they're not in the business of losing money, man.
It is intriguing where it will go from here, profitable or not, but WNBA needs to figure out something to get it marketed better.
Yeah, man, they got to, man. It's the league is a good league. I watch WNBA basketball, bro, and they play hard. They deserve to have eyes on them, on their game. They have stars, but it's all in the marketing. It's all in figuring out how to get regular cats like us to actually tune in and watch. I'm an exception. I'm not the rule. I will go home anxious to watch a WNBA game. I mean, Vegas playing such a night. I'm going home to watch it. But the average dude ain't really tripping, and the average female ain't really watching. Now you got casuals now because the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark dynamic, but that brings it up. But they fly by night. If this thing doesn't sustain, they ain't gonna watch no more. So.
I don't know if we've ever had this discussion. It's worth mentioning or asking. Is there anything about the WNBA you would change? Meaning, they play with a smaller ball. The lines are different. The minutes are different. Games played are different. There's a lot of little differences, which, in my opinion, I believe in basketball, women can play with the same size ball.
No doubt.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's controversial, but I believe they could play with a same-size ball.
Yeah.
Can they play 82 games a season?
Well, they couldn't play 82 games because it's only 12 teams. And you would be playing, it would be like back in the Bill Russell day, you'd be playing one team 16 times a year, you know. Right. So they wouldn't, the 82-game thing wouldn't work. Now, I can remember back in the early days of WNBA, once they kind of peaked out in the expansion, they may have had at some point 16 teams or something. We got to check that to see what's the most team they ever had. They took a big drop off. Now they only at 12. 8. They don't even have conferences anymore in the WNBA. It's just 12 teams. Top 8 make the playoffs, and it's 4 teams that don't. So it's really almost impossible to not make the playoffs in the WNBA, because if we was talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and their teams, Chicago Sky and the Fever, they're both fighting for the 8th spot right now, and both of them 3 or 4 games under 500. Majority of the league is under 500. So they need better competition. They need more teams. They could probably add a few more games, maybe, but the problem with adding more games is with the revenue being like it is, they already losing money. So it's like these stadiums and these arenas, they're like, man, I ain't gonna open my doors for 4,000 people to be in here 10 extra times. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done, man. And they're working on getting a lot of advertisement, a lot of rights deals. They already with Disney, but Amazon is on board, and you got CBS and different places coming in mixed in with the connections that they have to the NBA's rights that they're tied together with. So they need a lot of help, man, because I would hate to see it go. You know, I would love to see Houston get a team again.
Would you lower the rims?
No, I wouldn't do that, because that's kind of disrespectful.
Too gimmicky?
Yeah, it's gimmicky and it's disrespectful to the girls.
once suggested that on a live interview with, I think it was Rebecca Lobo. She scoffed at it.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
You want to make a WNBA player mad? Say, why don't y'all lower y'all rim? Because the argument was, I saw this on might have been on Gilbert Arenas podcast. Right. The argument was, if a female could come down the lane and just boom on somebody, it would make it more interesting, you know. But you got these young ladies who have been playing basketball since they was little girls and been playing on regulation size rim. Yeah, even when they was little girls. And the fact that if you are not a male in college or the pros or even maybe high-level high school guy, the average dude can't even beat them.
Right.
So they looking at you like, fool, what you doing? Lowering the rims. They're like, dude, I'll beat you in a one-on-one.
Right.
So that's what that's about. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't touch that. They already play with a smaller ball, but they could hoop with the regular ball if it just came down to it.
That's what I believe.
So, but leave it like it is. Just get your marketing and promotion game up, you know, and figure out a way to really maximize the talent and the star power that these girls got, man.
Okay, I guess we're going to, normally we transition into football, K, but we're in the valley of death right now. There is really, talking about tumbleweeds and crickets as far as football. We're waiting. We're in a waiting state, I guess. But on the baseball, there are some interesting notes here. One is we had the passing of a legend, and that'd be Willie Mays. Willie Mays, man, what an incredible athlete. First and foremost, the man did 2 tours, 1 tour on Korean War, I believe. He was also a patriot, veteran of playing a very long time in the MLB, set so many records that'll never be broken, and what an ambassador he was for the sport, and a mentor to many younger players. Willie Mays, man, transcended his sport, not like many ever did. Your thoughts on how much Willie Mays memories you got?
First thing, I ain't that old, Doug. I ain't see him play. I didn't see him play.
I didn't go that far.
Well, I remember back in '61, I was watching him on. But now, the first thing that stood out to me is, like with anybody that lives a life like that, is, he was 93 years old. So, baseball aside, you live to be 93 years old in this day and time, I give you a salute just on that. You make it to almost 100. That means that there were many things in his life that he was doing right. From health to just the mindset. But as far as his game, of course, we wasn't old enough to see him play. But according to the highlights and according to everything that everybody says about him, he was revolutionary in terms of playing that outfield position, mixed in with the hitting that he was able to do, the speed, the running, the circus catches that he would made, the over-the-shoulder catch, the basket catch, all of these things that were never seen in baseball before this man came along. And now, in a lot of cases, you have players that maybe make plays like Willie Mays may look kind of commonplace now, but he's the pioneer and revolutionary of all that. So somebody had to be the first to do this, the first to do that, and to be the prototype of a lot of the things that we see today. So I give him credit and salute as a pioneer. And last thing I'm going to say is that from the old era, in any sport, they like to say, like we was talking about plumbers and firemen and all that. Yeah. There's always greats that you can look at and say, he could have played now.
Right.
He'd have been great now. Now, it's easy to say that about players now and putting them back then, because the game has already grown and developed to where the skill sets are up. Of course, you could take, if J.J. Redick played in 1965, he'd be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But Willie Mays, and if you reverse it, Willie Mays could have played in today's Major League Baseball, man, and been just as great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. But we salute a giant. Rest in peace.
No question.
One of the greatest ambassadors of baseball, man.
No doubt about it.
Willie, we'll miss you. But still on baseball and the Astros, if we could bring up their
yeah, hold on.
We are climbing. We're above the Rangers, man. They're trying to make something happen.
Second place.
Like my daughter Ashley says, the AAA Astros swept the Baltimore Orioles in the 3-game series, right? That's literally what's going on with so many injuries on the Astros as well as across the league.
Right.
Betts has got a hurt hand. I don't know if you're keeping all these stockpile of injuries going through the league right now, let alone pitchers, right? But the Astros are going to make a run at it. We said it's going to be a long season, and this is looking like it's headed that way. The bats are getting somewhat warmed up with which bats we got on the field.
Right.
Tucker, we trying to get him back. Brayu, they let him go. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah. They did the right thing, man.
A lot of money.
They was pacifying Jeff Bagwell for that bad signing, and they finally had to let him ride, man.
Right, but
how many teams make the playoffs in baseball now? I know you got division winners and wild card. So is it 6?
I think it's 6.
Okay,
each division, I guess.
So
somewhat.
like they say, if the season ended today, the Astros would be in a wild card spot.
Or fighting for the wild card. Yeah, I think you're close.
Because they're in second place in that division. I guess it would depend on who maybe had better records, even in other divisions. But yeah, at the time of this filming, it's a five game winning streak. So
yes,
this is, I think, the longest streak that they have had this season has been 6 games, winning streak. And they just swept one of the best teams in baseball. So, but what that's saying to me, what I'm seeing, the pitching is improved. The pitching has gotten better. Blanco's in the All-Star game.
Right.
Framba's been pitching
Blanco
great.
from the Bronx.
Yeah,
Who?
man.
Benny Blanco, you remember Benny Blanco from the Bronx?
He ain't using the banned substance no more, and he's still killing. So, Framba Valdez been pitching real good. Verlander been in and out. Hunter Brown has picked it up. He was getting just mopped early in the year, but now he's getting you at least 6 innings last few outings. So they coming, man. They coming. We just got to see what happens, and they like I say, get some of the guys back like Tuck and get all those injuries out the way, and that pitching get tight. In the bullpen, they'll be all right.
Right, man. We hope for the best, wish for the best. We're going to see how this plays out. And I don't know if you have any more baseball news to go, but let's segue into more of the tail end of the podcast. And that is the news I've been alluding to on Mike Vance that I was able to contact through Houston Media Source. And this is the book of Eddie, if we need to, is it in focus here? And that's the history of Houston baseball from 1861 to 1961. And this is really a nice book.
Man, that's a monster right there. Well put together.
Yes, a lot of great illustrations.
Stick to it like an unabridged dictionary.
Also, a lot of the, I like to call them the Legends League, right? Heritage League players.
Right.
They talk about the history that they had in Houston baseball in here.
Right.
There are some segments here. One of the owners was from Calvert, which my wife is from. Interesting, but if you get a chance to pick up this book, it's interesting. We'll hope to have him on the show, probably in a Zoom call. But again, this is the history of Houston baseball.
Yeah, that's a
Very
beautiful
interesting.
book.
We'll hope to have him on the show. And this, Mike Vance said he is also a part of the Astros Hall of Fame committee.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll have some really good questions to ask him.
Look, if we can judge this book by its cover, it's gonna be a great one, man. Straight up, man. Straight up. Looking forward to talking to him.
Right. So
no doubt about it. Yeah.
And again, we're in oddities and whatnot, and also wanted. I collect comics. It's been a part of my life almost since I was a child. And what better way to bring in comics onto the show? Look at Eric. All right, calm down, Eric. Eric's a big comic book collector as well. But this is a Michael Jordan comic, right? This is really interesting. As I think these were short runs, which are done in black and white, as you can see. Which K-Rino has experience in this as well, because he himself has published a comic book and is working on a new one.
I'm new in the game, man. When did that come out?
This is in the 80s, I believe. Worth a few bucks. This was decent condition, but
that's original copy, or you just
this is an original copy.
So you've been had that 30-something years.
Well, I got this off eBay just recently for the show. But you see these other ones they've done on Pete Rose, different JFK, MC Hammer even got a comic book.
Wow.
But good for show and tell on the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no doubt about it.
A Michael Jordan comic book, man. I'm sure that is
I
worth
never
a pretty
saw it when
penny.
I walked in. I was like, man, what is this? Yeah, this is dope, man. But why do you do it in black and
Michael
white?
Jordan had a cartoon on TV. You remember that? The Pro
Man, yeah, that one got
Pro Stars, was that it?
Yeah.
Bo Jackson and
Michael's prime is slam time. Pro Stars, show stars. Swings hot, slap shot. Bo knows where to go. Pro Stars, Pro Stars.
Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan had a cartoon on Saturday mornings, I believe.
And they went back to the original. They did it in black and white.
Again, more of what the WNBA needs to be doing. Where's my UNESCO comic book?
They need a lot. They need a
Where's
lot.
my Angel
of help.
Reese? Well, I got my Sports Illustrated swimsuit.
Hey, man. No.
But I ain't got my Angel Reese comic book yet, right?
It wasn't me, Angel. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think that they need a lot of help, and I think that a lot of times the NBA is not interested in taking chances, big chances, because they feel like, we losing anyway. But I'm gonna do some research because I gotta figure out how, with the spike in attendance and revenue, how they're gonna lose more money this year than they've lost in 5 years combined. So that's scary, man.
The way you can pull up the Bill Laimbeer on here, is it saved?
In the 1990s, Bill Laimbeer was basketball's meanest player. Now it's all played mean.
Bill, what do you say? I say we'll thrash him. Get out of my face.
It's the new Super NES 1 or 2 player game, Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball from Hudson Soft. No refs, no fouls, only one rule to win. Up to 8 challenges.
We found a Bill Laimbeer Combat Basketball video game. Boy, we would sure like to know if Cadillac's feet.
I slap shit out there.
Welcome to NBA Jam.
I want to know your opinion on NBA Jam when that video game came out, the arcade.
Yeah.
When it came out.
It's crazy. This is gonna sound, everybody. I didn't really like NBA Jam. You know why? Because it wasn't real.
When was the first time you had ran across it?
I might have been in the arcade. I might have been. You remember Super Track?
Yes.
Yeah, I might have been in Super Track, and when I seen him hit the button and the dude jumped 50 feet in the air, and I'm like, man, I don't want to play no game, because I wanted to play like how when Nintendo and all that came, when they had the game that was more real.
Like you made Live 95.
Yeah, and the old school Lakers versus Celtics. I think that was on the Sega Genesis, whatever. I always wanted to play a game that was more closer to the actual game. So NBA Jam was more gimmicky to me. And
so you never really got into NBA Jam?
I never got into it.
Well, that was, I loved it.
I used to sit back and watch other people play it. But
it was, I watched a documentary, actually, the making of it. It's very fascinating. You know, the voice work that went into it, and the team licensing, and the players they could add. Like Jordan is not in NBA Jam, right? He wasn't. You
got to come with the big bucks to get Mike.
But Midway, it was based out of Dallas. I don't know if a lot of people y'all know that. Yeah.
Midway made all the classics.
But
that
this
boy
was
had
not K-Rino's forte of.
Ooh, that boy got a 98-inch vertical.
But I remember the Rockets had Keem and Vernon and. I think they had Ori on there, the first version.
Oh, we lived up to his name because almost every play was a dunk.
Oh, you can block every shot too. You can goaltend everything. That was another defensive hack, I guess.
They were playing with FIBA rules. They had FIBA rules.
And I guess the last thing we're gonna end the program is, I don't know what we can bring up here, but I found something that was really interesting about the greatest Latino hitter in baseball history.
Yeah, who was that?
Ted Williams.
Oh,
have you heard this?
He got some
His
genetics.
mother was Mexican and French. And they wrote a book about it. That Ted kind of shadowed that out of his history, but they've done a bunch of his.
Come on, Ted.
He was taught by his Mexican uncle, right? We were just listening earlier.
Ted, your uncle give you the game, Ted, and you gonna deny him and denounce him. Come on, Ted.
But yeah, this is something a lot of people don't know, man. Ted Williams was half Latino, actually Mexican and French American.
And another thing that people don't know, his head is frozen in a chamber somewhere right now to this day. Yeah,
that's right, man. Also,
the head
fallen
of Ted.
World War Patriot veteran.
Yeah, and shout out to Ted Williams, man. No question.
One of the greats, man. But I think that'll do it for this broadcast, unless we got something we missed or an announcement we missed. I believe
we gonna do the Houston Heartbreaks?
Oh, what happened was the laptop died, but we can still do it. I'll add it in editing. And
okay,
that's
cool.
This is what we're gonna talk about.
Yeah. Because
we can always have a segment, but this is the first one. I think it's honorable to talk about for the first one.
Yeah, when you hit me with that, I say I'm
Seattle
ready.
Supersonics.
Yeah.
You already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Rockets,
Yeah.
Game 7,
Yeah.
where it started, right where Keem said, "We go from here."
Yeah.
The game was so heartbreaking, man. I remember like yesterday, and we were reliving it. He missed those 2 free throws. I don't know if the last time you've seen this.
Oh yeah.
I think we got it going. You got it found it, Eddie?
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with this game.
Yes. I don't know if it's the top of the list, but it's up there, man.
It's not at the top, but it's up there because this clip that he's showing right here, where they was getting ready to show.
Look, pause it a minute.
Let me break down this game.
We'll back up a minute.
Go ahead.
Don Chaney was the coach.
Don Chaney was the coach.
Tom Janovich came in mid-season.
Tom Janovich was his assistant at the time. Was more so scouting than assistant. The next year, Chaney came back and got fired. Hold on. That's not right. This is 93.
Don Chaney had something to do with the beginnings of this team.
The Rockets won a championship the year after this game.
Correct.
The very next year, they came back and won the championship. So, I don't know. Rudy T was the coach in this game. He was the coach in this game.
Correct. But I believe the beginning of the season
Don Chaney started.
And they went through some turmoil. King was out, I believe. Mr. Mean, Larry Smith came in and did an incredible job at filling in for Dream. And we got into the playoffs.
Right.
And I thought we were going to do it. We were finally going to get there. This was the year, right?
Yeah.
And then this transpired. I just let it run.
Yeah.
And I believe Rory was a whole rookie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, this is a rookie. This is Robert Orr's rookie year. Good defense. Hot. Great defense. I remember all this like it was yesterday, man. Because if he misses that shot, we win. But Kenny Smith had a shot to win this game. Wide open. If he makes this shot, series over.
But you point out something, man. This was the beginning of really the three-point shooting taking precedence in the NBA, right? It hinged on that shot right there.
Well, the Rockets revolutionized that. We really got that going, man. We got that going. But this shot, the score is tied right here.
Man, he missed those two free throws.
If he makes this shot, game. That's game time right there. We bump him off. The thing about this series was that this game went to overtime. The Kenny shot would have won it, but it ended up going to overtime. The home team won every game in the series, every game, and this is the closest we came to actually stealing one on the road.
And for the young ones watching, they're getting history lessons here. Let me tell you something else. Part of a Wrekk rant. They played illegal defense. George Karl.
Oh yeah, that's his thing.
They would sag down on Dream. They would send guards Pierce in there. They would send McKee in there, play illegally. You're not supposed, and especially when the Rockets started formulating this whole offense, right? Seattle be the ones that try. They would cheat.
Right.
It was cheating, man.
Well,
I know it sounds bitter, but
nah, it's real. Look, we homers, man. We ain't got to give an explanation.
And give credit to Dream. He learned how to pass out of those double, triple teams, but Seattle, they had our number, I guess you could say, in a way.
I'm going to say this, because the narrative always have been that they had our number. Like I say, we came one shot away, corner shot from this is game 7.
Right.
Now, after that, once Peyton and Kemp kind of came into their own, then they had our number because they swept us after the second championship. But this game right here, Gary Payton had like 5 points.
Right.
With like 2 for 14 from the field. Sean Kemp may have had 17, 18 points, but he shot terrible from the field. So it wasn't those guys at that time. It was still Sam Perkins, Ricky Pierce, guys like that. Eddie Johnson, the veterans, and we really lost this game because of our free throws. The Rockets missed 10 free throws in this game.
Yep.
And because Seattle had just a little bit better bench. You got Eddie Johnson coming off your bench. You got Nate McMillan, Dana Barrows. They had a better bench. So, man, they didn't dominate the series. They just won. They just won. But this one hurt though, man.
And what happened the following year, again, historians here, Seattle got knocked off by the Denver Nuggets in the first round. An upset. Some say possibly one of the greatest upsets in NBA playoff history, right?
Yes, okay.
But some would say that also paved our way to the finals. Who knows if we would have beaten Seattle this next year.
They had only beaten us this time with this team
right
just the year before. So it wasn't a given that they would have beat us had they.
Plus,
got
Sam
out of the
Cassell
second
came
round.
in as a rookie
Came
this
in the
following
next
year, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't a given. See, the reason why the narrative created that Seattle had the Rockets numbers because another rendition of the Supersonics from the 80s, they had beaten the Rockets in the playoff series in 87 when they had Tom Chambers, Xavier McDaniels, and Dale Ellis. That's a whole different team. A couple of holdovers like Nate McMillan and all that. So it's like, okay, we played them twice in the playoffs. They beat us twice. But both series were close. So now it ain't that they had their number. They just got the edge on us. That's all.
Is that Matt Bullard going for a rebound?
Oh, yeah, Matt was out there, man.
I missed that.
That's young Matt.
That's a miracle.
That's young Matt, man. Yeah.
He did,
right,
man.
Right. So you know, that was a painful one because we had a bunch of chances to win it, and you lose by 3 and you miss 10 free throws. What can you do?
But the point of anything I want to make is what a great year they had this particular year. Well, a lot of people feel it was their year, and I guess Seattle went on to lose against Phoenix, evidently, because Phoenix went on to the finals and lost to the Bulls.
I was so happy when Phoenix. I don't want George Karl to win. I do not. Let me say this on the record. I do not like George Karl at all. But another thing they had. Do you know in this game that Seattle had 24 offensive rebounds, bro? 24 offensive rebounds. And you still only lose by 3. So cut those offensive rebounds. Make your free throws, and we might have won by 15. But this one was painful, bro.
But you're segueing into something that's also controversial in Rockets history. They were not the greatest of rebounding teams.
And even in the championship
because of
year.
that, they made that drastic trade to bring Barkley here, right? And well, to this day, people say that was a huge mistake. Well, it's still controversial, but I'm pointing out what you just said. They made that trade because the Rockets had once they traded Otis Thorpe, right? Yeah. They had problems getting the ball, rebounding, let alone offensive rebounding the ball.
But peep the game. This very game we're talking, it was Dream and Otis Thorpe in this game. When I saw that stat, I said, how did they get out rebounded by 24 offensive when they got Akeem Thorpe and a young Ori jumping out the gym? I don't understand how they gave up that many offensive rebounds. But yeah, they picked up Barkley because Seattle had just swept them the year before they won the second championship, and so they wanted to get somebody on the low post that could demand a double team, and they couldn't swarm Dream and do the legal defense thing like they had been doing. So that was kind of a lot of the motivation too, man. But yeah, that was a good one you picked, man. That one still hurt, bro. That one still hurt. I don't like Seattle. Peyton and Kemp, them my guys. You know, Sam Perkins. But as a team, as a unit, I can't. And everybody like, man, I want to see Seattle get a franchise. But
no, they're good with the Thunder.
They OKC. Y'all OKC. Y'all can pull for them.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I guess this will close up shop for the day. Legends 34. You need to subscribe.
Yeah.
Drop a comment. Share the podcast. We got the great podcast with Cadillac Anderson. You need to check that out. It's 2 parts. Before I close, yes,
never know.
One thing about doing this show, being responsible and having accountability of saying certain things, and they're wrong. I say a lot of things that are wrong. Not a lot of things, but I catch myself. And one of those things is the Houston Astros have not acquired Trevor Bauer. That was some type of, I think, a social platform stunt pulled by Trevor Bauer himself, pulling the Astros hat off the shelf or something. But the Astros have not acquired Trevor Bauer, so I wanted to make that correction on the show.
Yeah, we stand on the truth over here, man. Straight up.
Yeah, you have to go look it up. He played a little stunt and went through all the media, and they say, hey, the Astros are going to pick up Trevor Bauer, and it wasn't that true.
I like that. Now I wish we'd have got him.
But next time, Legends 34, we want to see you here. K-Rino, DJ Wrekk, we out.
Peace and hair grease.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion. champion.
Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K-Rino and DJ Wrekk.